They stole my identity, now they want me to save them. Part 2 of Emma's story. 3 months had passed since Emma walked out of the mediation room and shut the door on her family for good. In that time she'd moved into her new apartment, repainted every wall and planted herbs on the balcony. She liked the quiet. No one barged in to ask for money. No one guilt-tripped her over groceries or gas. The story she posted on Reddit had exploded. Over 6 million views. Thousands of comments. News outlets picked it up and someone even started a meme page called Kayla Cries About Consequences. Emma ignored the chaos, until the morning a certified letter showed up at her door. It was from her father. Inside was a formal notice. He'd lost his job. The company launched a full ethics investigation after the Reddit post went viral. No job, no pension. And they wanted to talk. Where are you watching from today? Kindly hit like, comment and subscribe to this channel for more. She held the letter in one hand and her coffee in the other, staring out the window like it might offer an answer. A knock pulled her back. Sophie stepped inside with a newspaper under her arm. Front page again, she said, dropping it on the table. Emma squinted at the headline. Viral family feud ends in financial ruin. Now they're asking for help. Sophie shook her head. I got a call from their new lawyer this morning. They want a meeting. Mediation again. No, Emma didn't even blink. They say they're desperate. They were desperate when they forged my signature, Emma snapped. You don't owe them anything, Sophie said. But if you want closure, go hear them out. With me in the room. Emma didn't answer. She looked down at the letter again. This time it wasn't rage she felt. It was something worse. Exhaustion. The next day, Emma walked into the mediation center again. Same stale carpet, same buzzing lights. Her parents sat on one side of the table, both visibly older. Her father's hair had turned more gray. Her mother clutched tissues in both hands. Kayla wasn't there. Emma, her father started, voice strained. Thank you for coming. I didn't come for you, she said flatly. I came for closure. The mediator entered and nodded for everyone to sit. Let's begin. Her mother spoke first. We lost everything. The house, Dad's job, our savings. I know we hurt you. But we're asking not for money but for forgiveness. Emma looked at Sophie, then back at them. Did you come here to make peace or to escape consequences? Her father's jaw tightened. We're asking for help, Emma. You destroyed our reputation. Emma's eyes narrowed. I told the truth. You did that yourselves. Kayla, her mother began, voice cracking. She's not well. She's staying with a friend but hasn't spoken to us in weeks. Not my problem, Emma replied. You always made her your problem, remember? Her father slammed his hand on the table. Enough. You've made your point. What do you want from us? Sophie stepped in before Emma could answer. You requested this meeting. If you have a proposal, we're listening. Her mother spoke slowly. We want Emma to help us get our record cleared. Maybe release a statement saying she misunderstood the mortgage documents. Emma laughed. A cold, sharp sound. You want me to lie? Again. We're drowning, her father whispered. Then sink, Emma said quietly. Because I'm not throwing you a life raft made of lies. That night, Emma sat on her balcony with her laptop glowing in her lap. The internet hadn't forgotten. People still tagged her in videos, shared updates and thanked her for speaking out. One message stood out. It was from Jacob. Your post helped me walk away from something toxic. I've started law school. If you ever need help with advocacy work, let me know. Emma stared at the message. Then another popped in. This one from a woman named Melissa. I think my parents stole from me too. Can you help me figure it out? Emma looked at the dark sky above and finally understood. Maybe she couldn't fix her family, but she could help others protect themselves from theirs. Emma met with Sophie the next afternoon at a quiet cafe downtown. She sipped on a ginger tea while Sophie scrolled through her iPad. You've got over 100 messages from strangers asking for legal advice, Sophie said. Half of them are young women who say their families drained their bank accounts. Emma leaned back in her chair, frowning. This is insane. I didn't mean to become a spokesperson for financial betrayal. But you did, Sophie replied. And now people trust you. That's power, Emma. You could do something with it. Emma blinked. Like what? Sophie hesitated. A resource network. A nonprofit. A blog. Or even a YouTube series. We can call it, Blood Shouldn't Cost You Everything. Emma raised an eyebrow. That's dramatic. Exactly. They both smiled, but there was something serious behind Sophie's eyes. You were never the only one, she added quietly. You were just the first to say it out loud. Later that week, Emma got an unexpected knock on her apartment door. She opened it slowly, expecting a neighbor or a delivery. Instead, Kayla stood there, thin, pale, and visibly shaking. What do you want? Emma asked. Kayla didn't answer right away. Her eyes were puffy and red, her hair pulled into a sloppy bun. She wore the same hoodie Emma remembered from college. Can I come in? Kayla asked in a hoarse voice. That depends, Emma replied. Are you here to lie or are you here to apologize? Kayla looked down at her sneakers. I'm here because I have nowhere else to go. Emma stepped aside without a word. Kayla walked in slowly, like someone entering a stranger's home. She sat on the edge of the couch, wringing her hands. You ruined my life, she said. No, Emma said quietly. You did that all by yourself. For a long time neither of them spoke. Then Kayla said, I'm $54,000 in debt now. The interest is killing me. I've been couch hopping. I can't even get a credit card approved. And you think I can fix that? Emma asked, arms crossed. No. I don't know what I think. I didn't know it would all fall apart like this. Emma scoffed. You were about to start your marriage with lies and hidden loans. Did you think that would go well? I thought Chase loved me enough to overlook it, Kayla whispered. He loved you enough to walk away, Emma shot back. That takes strength. Kayla blinked fast, her voice cracking. Do you ever think about what it cost us? What all this cost the family? Emma stood. You mean what it cost me? I lost my home. I lost my trust. I lost years of my life trying to earn love from people who only took. Kayla had no answer. I came here to ask for help, Kayla said finally. Not money. Just a guidance. A starting point. Emma sat down, watching her sister closely. Why now? Kayla's voice trembled. Because I don't want to be like them. I don't want to keep pretending it's everyone else's fault. For the first time in years, Emma saw something in Kayla's eyes that wasn't entitlement. It was fear. Real fear. And maybe a little truth. Emma took a deep breath. Hey, I'll help you find a job. I'll help you build a budget. But this isn't a second chance to be taken care of. This is a first chance to take care of yourself. Kayla nodded quickly, tears forming again. I'll take it. Emma's voice hardened. And if you ever forge anything with my name again, I will press charges and let the internet finish the job. Kayla nodded again, this time more slowly. I get it. I swear. Later that night, Emma stared at her laptop. A message from a producer blinked at the top of her inbox. We're producing a documentary about digital justice and family betrayal. We want you to be our voice. She hadn't replied yet. Her story wasn't just hers anymore. It was echoing across platforms. People were emailing her, tagging her, quoting her like she was some kind of quiet hero. She didn't feel like a hero. Just a woman who had finally stopped being silent. A soft knock came from the guest room. Thank you, Kayla whispered from the hallway, still wearing the hoodie. Emma didn't respond. She simply nodded and turned back to her screen. Then with one deep breath she hit reply on the producer's email. It was time to do something bigger than just escape her family. It was time to change the conversation. The next morning, Emma met with Sophie again, this time at Sophie's office. You really let Kayla stay with you? Sophie asked, eyebrows raised as she poured coffee. For now, Emma said, stirring her own. She's scared. She's got nothing. Sophie leaned on her desk. I get it. But keep your boundaries clear. She's manipulative when she's desperate. Emma nodded. I told her there's no money coming from me. Just structure. A job lead. A spreadsheet. She cried the whole night. Sophie pulled out a folder. Speaking of crying, your father's former employer sent me a letter. Emma looked up, curious. They want to formally clear their name from your story. They're threatening legal action if your Reddit post isn't edited to exclude any mention of the company name. Emma smirked. Let them try. I never named the company. The internet connected the dots all on its own. Sophie smiled. Then let them cry. That evening Emma and Kayla sat side by side on the couch. Kayla held a small notebook in her lap, nervously flipping pages. I made a list, she said quietly, of jobs I can apply to. Nothing glamorous. But it's a start. Emma took the notebook and scanned the list. Receptionist. Barista. Temp assistant. You left out freelance crying influencer. Kayla chuckled through her nose. That was one time. It was 3 times, Emma corrected. And each time went viral. Kayla looked down again. I deserved it. You earned it, Emma said. But now maybe you can earn something else. He handed the notebook back. Pick one. Send your first application by tonight. We're not waiting for karma to give you a refund. Kayla gave a small nod and opened her laptop. Emma didn't say anything, but for the first time since Kayla showed up at her door, she allowed herself to feel, maybe not hope, but a flicker of possibility. 1 week later, Emma got a phone call from a woman named Carla. She was a middle school teacher from Utah. I don't know why I'm calling, Carla admitted. Your story it hit me. My parents drained my savings account after my divorce. I didn't even realize until the IRS started asking questions. Emma sat quietly, letting the woman speak. Everyone says family first. But they never say at what cost. Emma nodded even though Carla couldn't see her. That's why I told my story, she said softly. To let people know they're not crazy. I just needed someone to say it's okay to walk away, Carla whispered. Emma took a deep breath. It's okay. It really is. After the call ended, Emma opened a blank document on her computer. At the top she typed in bold letters, how to protect yourself financially from family. And then she began to write. Kayla stood behind her as she typed. You're really doing this, huh? Looks like it, Emma replied. I'm starting with a free digital guide. Then maybe a newsletter or a blog. I don't know yet. Kayla hovered. Can I help? Emma raised an eyebrow. Why? Because I want to understand. What you went through. What I did to you. And maybe, help other people not be like me. Emma hesitated. Then she slid a chair out beside her. Then start with editing. Grammar mistakes make me look unprofessional. Kayla grinned. On it, boss. They worked side by side in silence, and for once it didn't feel tense. It felt like rebuilding. Not trust, not yet, but something raw and real. Emma didn't trust easily anymore. But she could accept progress. Tiny, stubborn progress. The kind you had to earn word by word. A few days later, Emma's inbox exploded again. Her blog post had gone live and was shared by a popular financial literacy influencer. It hit 80,000 views in 24 hours. The comments were filled with messages from people all over the world. Children drained by their parents, siblings exploited by siblings, people quietly trapped by guilt. You have no idea how much this helped me. Reading this made me feel seen. I thought I was the only one. Kayla read the comments with wide eyes. You really started something. Emma shrugged. I just told the truth. But no one else does. Emma sat back, exhaling. That's the problem. Everyone tells you to be loyal. No one tells you that loyalty should be mutual. Kayla murmured, if someone had told me that earlier, maybe I wouldn't have become such a mess. Emma didn't respond. She just clicked open the next email. A podcast host was requesting an interview. She was going to need a better microphone. Meanwhile, back in the old neighborhood, Mrs. Miller stood on her porch, watering her flowers as she always did. A realtor's sign had appeared in front of Emma's childhood home again. For sale. Motivated seller. Word around the block was that Emma's parents were living off government pensions and what little was left in their retirement fund. They tried renting out the house, but no one wanted to live in a property so infamous online. Especially one where neighbors like Mrs. Miller could give unsolicited, very detailed backstory. She wasn't shy about it either. Oh yes, she'd say to interested renters, this is the house. The one from Reddit. The one where the daughter sued the parents for fraud and won. Google it. She smiled politely as they left. She didn't mind. That house wasn't the same without Emma anyway. Emma received another message that made her stop. It was from her old boss at the marketing firm she left months ago. Emma, the message read. I just saw your blog. I had no idea what you were going through. We're launching a campaign around financial resilience and community recovery. Want to collaborate? Emma reread it twice. She remembered sitting in that office late at night, responding to client emails while worrying about leaking ceilings and unpaid repairmen. That job had helped her pay for everything, without knowing what she was sacrificing. What do you think? Kayla asked, peeking over her shoulder. I think I finally get to say yes to something that feeds me instead of draining me, Emma said. And she typed back, let's talk. I'd love to be part of it. The next time Sophie visited, she brought sparkling water and a bag of snacks. You've been everywhere, she said, tossing a granola bar at Emma. BuzzFeed, TikTok compilations, even a legal podcast from Australia. Emma rolled her eyes. I didn't plan for this. You never do, Sophie said. That's the secret about becoming a symbol. It happens after someone breaks you and you decide not to stay broken. Is that supposed to be inspiring? Emma asked. It's supposed to be true. They both laughed. Sophie raised her glass of sparkling water. To new beginnings, chosen family, and burning every guilt-trip bridge to the ground. Emma clinked her glass. Cheers to that. Kayla had started working part-time at a local bookstore. He came home smelling like paper and espresso. She talked about funny customers and strange coworkers. She started budgeting too. And for once, she didn't roll her eyes when Emma asked about credit scores or student loan plans. It wasn't perfect. She still got overwhelmed sometimes. Still cried at night. But she was trying. And Emma could see that. One night, Kayla handed her an envelope. What's this? Emma asked. The first $200, Kayla said. Toward what I owe you. Emma stared at it. You don't have to. I do, Kayla interrupted. Because I don't want to be the person who just takes any more. Emma accepted the envelope, heart tight in her chest. Thank you, she said. Kayla nodded. No more speeches. No more begging. Just a quiet act of growth. Emma set it on her bookshelf, next to the photo of them as kids, long before money and betrayal tangled everything. Later that night, as Emma sat in bed answering interview requests, she scrolled past a comment that stuck with her. You didn't just get justice. You gave the rest of us permission to demand it. Emma smiled. Maybe that was enough. Maybe she didn't need revenge anymore. Just peace. Real hard-earned peace. And maybe, just maybe, the start of something even better. The next week, Emma stood on a small stage at a local university event titled, Boundaries and Bloodlines. When family hurts. Her voice shook only slightly at first. When my family gave away the house I'd spent a decade building, they called it love. When I filed a lien to protect my investment, they called it betrayal. But standing up for yourself is not betrayal. It's survival. Applause echoed softly across the room. Kayla sat in the front row, silent, listening with a notepad in her lap. Later, a student approached Emma with tears in her eyes. Thank you. My brother forged my name to get a car loan. I thought I had to just accept it. Emma placed a hand on the student's shoulder. You don't have to accept abuse just because it shares your DNA. Emma left the event with a full heart. Her inbox was full again. Messages from lawyers, nonprofits, and producers who wanted to partner or donate or just say thank you. But not all messages were kind. Her mother had sent another one. You've made your point. Can't you stop now? Emma didn't reply. She didn't need to. The silence was her answer. A few days later, she got word through Mrs. Miller. Her parents had finally sold the house at a loss. They were moving to a small rental on the other side of town. Seems they don't like being in the spotlight, Mrs. Miller said with a smirk. Guess the truth burns longer than a porch light. Emma laughed softly. She didn't feel angry anymore. Just done. That night, Emma and Kayla walked past their old neighborhood. The house looked smaller now, colder. The porch lights were off. The shutters crooked. A sold sign leaned half-fallen against a wilted bush. It's weird, Kayla said quietly. That used to feel like everything. Emma nodded. Now it feels like a shell. Do you miss it? Not anymore. I miss what I thought it was. They stood there a moment longer before walking away. Neither of them looked back. They weren't those girls anymore. Not the favorite. Not the forgotten. Not the fixer or the taker. They were something new now. Something still healing, still learning. But they were moving forward. And that was enough. 2 weeks later, Emma launched her first official digital workshop. Financial Boundaries. What no one taught us at home. Over 3,000 people signed up. The chat was flooded with questions and stories. Sophie opened the session with a brief intro, then handed it over to Emma. She wore a soft green blouse and spoke into a decent mic she'd finally splurged on. Let's start with the basics, she said. How to say no. How to track your money. How to protect your name, even from the people closest to you. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't viral. But it was real. And when she finished, there was applause, even through the screen. After the session ended, Emma closed her laptop and leaned back in her chair. Kayla popped her head in from the hallway. How'd it go? Amazing, Emma said. You helped a lot of people. Feels weird, doesn't it? Kayla asked. Being the good example now? Emma smiled. We're not examples. We're evidence. That people can change. That boundaries can heal. Kayla nodded slowly. I'm proud of you. Thanks, Emma said. I'm proud of you too. Even if you still drink your coffee with 3 sugars. Kayla rolled her eyes. Not everything needs fixing. Emma laughed. Fair. Later that night, Emma journaled quietly in her bedroom. She wrote about the journey, not the viral story or the court dates, but the small moments. The nights crying on the floor. The moment she realized she didn't need their approval. The freedom of signing a lease in her own name. She wrote, peace isn't loud. It's quiet. It's not applause, it's breathing easier when the phone rings and you don't feel dread. She closed the journal and tucked it under her pillow. Then she turned off the light, letting the silence wrap around her like a blanket she'd finally earned. The next morning, Emma opened the curtains and let in the sun. Her plants leaned toward the light. Kayla was already up, dressed for work, sipping coffee with only 2 sugars this time. Emma smiled. Life wasn't perfect. There were scars. There were wounds. But there was also growth. And the strength to protect it. She picked up her phone, ignored 2 new interview requests, and instead opened her notes app. Book title idea. The cost of staying silent. She smiled. Maybe it was time. Not to reopen the wound, but to show the world how it heals. Moral lesson. Setting boundaries with family isn't betrayal, it's survival. Protecting your peace, your credit, and your self-worth may come with loss, but it opens the door to freedom, healing, and a life built on truth, not guilt. Remember to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more of this.